Hare Krishna. So welcome back to chapter 9, and today is the last session for part 1 of this course. So today we are going to be covering chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. The acronym is called KING, and let's begin with some prayers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so we're just going to cover what's been happening so far, the link between the last chapter and this chapter. So in the last chapter, in 8:22, Krishna described how his abode, it can be reached only by the Ananya Bhaktas, or also known as pure devotees, right? And in chapter 9, Krishna will describe the path by which one can become a pure devotee, that is Bhakti Yoga. Okay? So the acronym KING, K stands for knowledge, text 1 to 3. I stands for inconceivable relationships from 4 to 10. N stands for non-worship from 11 to 25. And G stands for glories of bhakti from 26 to 34. So now, just as pearls are hidden within a shell, or like a pearl is hidden within the oyster shells, a king is surrounded by his entourage. The essence of the entire Gita is nestled in the middle of it. Because the Gita has got 18 chapters, right in the middle is the essence of it. Krishna outlines that the king of all knowledge and the most secret of all secrets in this chapter. He covers the essence of his existence, the very essence of our being, and the essence of spirituality. Okay? So let's go ahead. Okay, knowledge. So the different degrees of knowledge and different degrees of confidentiality. This chapter is known as the most confidential knowledge. So if you look at earlier in the Gita, Krishna describes it as 3 ways. He says there is confidential knowledge, there is more confidential knowledge, and there is the most confidential knowledge. So, what is the Sanskrit word for confidential, in the sense of secret, is called guhya. So he says, in chapters 2 and 3, he tells Arjuna confidential knowledge. What is confidential knowledge? The confidential knowledge is that we are the spirit soul and we are not the body. Right? So in this level, we only know who we are. Okay? In chapter 7 and 8, Krishna tells Arjuna, I am giving you Guhyatara. So first one was Guhya, confidential. Then there is Guhyatara, which is more confidential. He says that, okay, in chapter 2, we already know that we are the spirit soul and not the body. But now, we understand that Krishna is a supreme and that we are his parts and parcels. He describes this in chapter 7 and 8. And then in chapter 9, this is where he comes and says, this knowledge is Guhyatama. Guhya and Uttama. So Uttama is the highest, and Guhya means confidential. So the most confidential. And what is the most confidential knowledge? It's that we are the spirit soul, not the body. Krishna is the supreme and we are parts and parcels. And we are eternally his servitor, engaged in intimate loving reciprocation with the Lord. So the 3 stages of perfection: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. Sambandha means understanding ourselves. However, this is not enough because there are so many possibilities of incomplete understandings that can come about by just understanding ourselves. So the people start thinking that, I am a spirit soul. But then that's good enough. But when it's not good when it starts to be mixed with different wrong conclusions that, I am equal to Bhagavan. See, just having knowledge about the soul is not enough. Because you can have the possibility of incomplete conclusions. Then next part is we understand Krishna. And then we understand the relationship with him. And then in the Prayojana, we now start the process of building the relationship with him as as a soul with the master or the servant master, and you start doing bhakti. That comes in the 9th chapter. Okay? So, what is the qualification to understand this knowledge? Krishna explains that this most confidential knowledge, it is state specific. So it's not open to everyone. You have to have certain qualities. So, and you have to have a certain state of mind. So what are the state of mind that we need to have? Krishna says that one must be non-envious, and second, one must be faithful. And this is what Arjuna had. Arjuna was non-envious and he was faithful. Well, why does Krishna say this? Why does Krishna make this access to this knowledge to be state specific? Because it is until one is envious, one is unable to submit themselves to a higher authority, as they believe that they are either equal or they are superior. It will block the ability to appreciate the greatness of others, and in fact, it increases the enmity towards superiors. If a person is envious, that person will not be able to appreciate the good qualities of others. And so that is why Krishna says that because Krishna is the greatest. So anything that he does, any glories of him, if it is given to an envious person, that person will not be able to appreciate it, and more so, that person will commit offenses by degrading the position of God. Okay? Faith is also needed as it is a prerequisite for receiving knowledge. It is not opposed to knowledge as modern scientists claim. See, modern scientists, they claim that science will one day be able to explain everything in the world through scientific laws, and there will be no need to have faith in an imaginary supreme. However, they don't realize that a lot of science itself is rooted in faith, that many scientific breakthroughs were made by people who had the faith that there was a pattern which was designed by higher intelligence behind the chaos of nature. They had faith that the universe has some order in it. So what is the meaning of faith? Faith means that we are having a firm conviction that by doing something, it will lead to eventual fulfillment. So what are the examples of what we have faith in the modern world? Many people have faith that, okay, money will make me happy, relationships will make me happy, material things will make me happy, medicine will make me happy by prolonging my life, and even getting degrees, getting knowledge, that will make me happy. So we have faith in all these things. But have you ever found everlasting fulfillment in any of the above? Anyone? Everlasting fulfillment? No. Therefore, how can we define faith in terms of the Gita? So, in terms of the Gita, faith means the complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. But how to create and grow this faith? And the only way you can grow this faith is by associating with devotees like Narada Muni. If you look at all the great devotees of the Lord, they all got bhakti once they started to serve and take shelter of a spiritual master. All of them. There's not a single great devotee who has not taken association of devotees. Yeah? So, king of knowledge. So, this knowledge is known as Raja Vidya. In text number 2, he says this is Raja Vidya, meaning the king of all knowledge. And why is it the king? It is because it is the essence of all the Vedas. Now, there's so many different types of knowledge in this world, like politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, biology, whatever. However, all this type of knowledge, they relate to the body. This has got nothing to do with the soul. None of these branches of knowledge deal with the soul. One time Srila Prabhupada went to MIT in Boston, and he said, okay, this is MIT, but where is the Department of the Almighty? Yeah, you teach MIT here, well, where is the department where you teach about the Almighty? Yeah, so it is a play of words there. Yeah, yet it is a soul. It is a soul that animates the body, and therefore knowledge of this entity, the soul, is the best knowledge, not just the knowledge of the bodily necessities of life. Okay? And finally, when you get to know this knowledge will culminate in understanding and practicing devotional service. Okay? So now we go to the next part, inconceivable relationships. So this knowledge, as we said already, was there is a knowledge of the soul, there is a knowledge of Bhagwan, and then there is a knowledge between the relationship between the two. So some people get stuck. How can we understand Bhagwan fully? I need to focus myself fully to understand Bhagwan. Then only will I be able to surrender myself to Him. Because until we know full effects of something, till that time we are not ready to jump in. Right? Now the problem is that knowledge of God alone isn't going to be able to enable us to fully conceive of Krishna's identity, characteristic and qualities of God. Why is that? Just like an idea is conceived within the mind, or a child is conceived within the womb, Krishna, who is unlimited, cannot be conceived within our tiny, logical and reasonable capacity. Keshav Maharaj says it very nicely. We have to use our logic to logically understand that we cannot use our logic to understand Krishna. Yeah? we have to use our logic to logically understand that we cannot understand Krishna through logic alone, because Krishna is unlimited. If He was able to be fully understood by our tiny brains, that means that our brains are greater than Krishna, because we can fully understand Him. But that's not possible. Even, forget about us, even Lord Brahma can't conceive of Krishna's qualities. Even Ananta Shesh, even having, despite innumerable amount of mouths and ears, he is not even able to finish glorifying the Lord. Yeah? The aim of spirituality is not to know God perfectly and thoroughly, because that is impossible. But it is to know Him enough that makes us want to surrender unto Him fully. Okay? Now, just because we cannot fully conceive of Krishna's identity, that does not mean that we can't attract the unlimited and conquer over the unconquerable Lord. Right? There's so many examples of exemplary devotees in the past, like Queen Yashoda, Arjun, Sudama, and there are many, many more examples. And they have paved the way for us of how to apply this most confidential knowledge, and when we apply that, we too will be able to attract Krishna towards us, just as Krishna was attracted to his devotees in the past. Yeah? Another example is given is that if you want to go and meet the president, it's very difficult. But if the president wants to come to meet you, it's very easy for the president to do that. Right? But it's very difficult if you want to go to meet the president. Right? So in this section, Krishna will briefly hint at the inconceivable relationship he has with the universe through its maintenance, creation and destruction. Okay? This knowledge of Krishna's inconceivable relationship and remarkable power should serve as a stimulant for devotion to Him. Okay? Just understanding the greatness of Krishna and understanding that, He's so inconceivable, is not supposed to make us feel less, but it's supposed to generate or stimulate us in a journey to devote ourselves to Him. Okay? So imagine when we realize how great our Master is, will we ever be afraid? Yeah, the example is given that imagine the power of a government official. A government official who is very close to the president. Will that person ever be scared of anyone? No, because he knows that he has got the power of the president behind him. So even if this person who is a government aide, he might not be the richest person in the world, or even not even be the richest person in the state, but he can take assurance in the power that he is representing the president. And so even if there's a big thug who is much more richer than this person is, he's not afraid of catching him and fearing any punishment, because he knows he's got the power of the president behind him. Right? Okay? Then Krishna is the supreme director, and no work which is creating, maintaining, or destroying universes actually binds him. Everything is working due to material nature, and this material nature is working under his direction. Right? So, very quickly, there's a small process of creation that I'll just go through very quickly. So, Krishna is right at the top. Okay? He's absolute truth. Right? From here, he has many incarnations. Okay? These are known as avatars. Okay? There are many different types of avatars. We discussed the word avatar means to come down, to descend. So there are many different categories of avatars, but we'll just pick on one of them. The one category that we will pick on is called Purusha avatars. Okay? Purusha avatars, these avatars are in charge of creating the material world. Okay? Now, in this one, there are three different categories. The first category is Mahavishnu. Okay? From Mahavishnu basically lies in an ocean. And when he breathes in and when he breathes out, universes are created and then they're annihilated. A single breath of Mahavishnu. From each pore of his body, a small bubble comes up. And that bubble is each universe. Each bubble is one whole universe. So from each bubble or each universe is created when he's breathing out from each pore. Then what happens is within each of those bubbles, Mahavishnu enters, expands as Garbho Udaka Shai Vishnu. Garbho means womb. So within each bubble, again he enters, and from there he rests, he perspires and covers half the ocean, half the bubble with the causal ocean, and then he rests on it, and then he just lies there, and then from Garbho Daksha Vishnu comes the next one, which is now this is Kshirodakashai Vishnu. Kshirodakashai Vishnu expands and enters each and every atom in the universe. Okay? Now from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, from his navel sprouts a lotus flower, and who sits on the top of the lotus flower? Brahma. Brahma sits on the top of the lotus flower. And then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu enters each and every atom, and that's why he is called all-pervading. So when we say that Bhagavan is all-pervading, what we are focusing on is this aspect of Bhagavan. Okay? So what happens is, and also Shirodaksha Vishnu, he's within the universe, he's got his own abode called in Shweta Deepa, the ocean of milk. So whenever there is any fight between the demons and the demigods, and the demigods need help of Vishnu, they go to Shirodaksha Vishnu in this Shweta Deep planet and ask him to come and help. So all the incarnations that come about of Krishna in this world, they come from him. They come from Shirodaksha Vishnu. So even when Krishna comes down, he comes down through this part here. So what people mistake this to happen is that Krishna comes from here. So he is not the supreme. Yeah? They make the mistake that when Krishna descends as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, many people misunderstand him to be an ordinary human being or just as an amsha or a part, not the original. They mistake him to be a part of Bhagavan, not that he is Bhagavan himself. So this is what happens. People's misunderstanding happens is that Krishna, when he comes as a avatar, he's just is avatar. He's an empowered person, not that he's the original source of everything. Okay, this is what causes people to have a non-worship attitude towards Krishna. Okay, because of this misunderstanding, people avoid worshipping Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, and they repose their faith in other ideas of God. Now, in this section of the chapter, Krishna describes a broad spectrum of people who worship him in different ways. Okay? So there are three main categories: the karmis, the jnanis, and the bhaktas. Now, in the karmis, these are the people, not karma yogis, karmis. These are the people who are in the karma kand section. They are not yogis. So these are known as the fools or the muddahs. Krishna uses the word muddahs. Why? Because they think that when Krishna descends, he is like one of them. He is a human being and he is subject to karma. And what does Krishna say the fate of those people are? He says that these people are deluded by Maya and they are attracted by demonic and atheistic views and are actually frustrated in their efforts to be happy. This comes in verse 11 and 12. Now we go the opposite. Complete opposite of the Buddhas is the Bhaktas. They are pure devotees. They worship Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. They attain Krishna, the highest goal, which is Krishna Prema, and entry into Krishna's abode as an eternal associate of God. This comes next in 9:13 and 9:14. And then from 9:15 onwards, we have these remaining three, where he talks about the three types of jnanis. He talks about the Ekat Vena. They mean they worship Krishna in oneness, thinking themselves as God. These are the impersonalists and Mayavadis. So after a great deal of trouble, they will come to the point of understanding the impersonal Brahman realization. Remember we talked about Bhagwan can be realized in three different ways. The Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So the people who worship Krishna in oneness and who are impersonalists, the highest that they can get to is the Brahman level of realization. The Paramatma and the Bhagavan level of realization is locked to them. Then there is the Pritak Vena. Ekat means one, Pritak means many. So they worship Krishna in diversity, that is, in many forms as demigods. Different destinations based on the worship of different demigods. So this comes in 920 to 925. And then is Vishvato Mukham. Vishvato means universe. So what these people do, they worship Krishna as a universal form or worship Krishna as a source of everything. Even these people, they will only achieve the impersonal Brahman realization stage. They don't reach the Bhagwan realization Okay? So this is just like a broad spectrum of the different types of people who don't know Krishna as the absolute. People who know Krishna as absolute are here, but the people who don't know Krishna as absolute are all here. Okay? Now, G, which means glories of bhakti. So Krishna, after describing all the different types of conceptions of the absolute that different people worship, brings back the conversation to the path and the pure devotee state, and glorifies that path to be known as Bhakti Yoga. Okay? So we're going to have a small acronym here, again called SEES. S stands for simple. He says this Bhakti Yoga path is so glorious because the first aspect, it is very simple. In 9:26, Krishna says, if one offers me with love and devotion, so this is a condition. The condition, it has to be offered with love and devotion. What? A leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Okay? It's very simple. Such things are universally available for the most poor person up to the most richest person. So just see how simple it is. It's not disbarring that, God is only available to the super rich. No. Krishna is available to everyone. Yeah? Krishna doesn't bar anyone as rules and regulations to worship him. Devotion is not based upon one's material position. Right? Krishna is just pleased with the devotion. E means everything. Everything should be offered to him in 9:27 and 9:28. So when we offer anything to him, one is purified by offering whatever little he can. Okay? For those who are not completely devoted to him, they can at least begin by offering whatever they do as an offering to him, by which one gets purified and free from bondage. E, again, he's equal to all, but he's inclined to his devotee. What does this show? That Krishna is equal to all, but at the same time, he is reciprocal. And how do you understand this? Rain falls everywhere, but only the fertile land will reciprocate positively with it. It can rain in a desert area, it can rain on the mountain face, it can rain on the ocean, and it can rain on barren land. But it is only the rain that goes on a fertile piece of land where crops grow. Yeah, so Krishna's mercy is available for everyone. But it's only the people who start to have a devotional attitude towards Krishna will he reciprocate with them more. Just like a man or a father or mother, they will treat all the children equally, but they will reciprocate more with the children who reciprocate with them and give them more love. Yeah? So, and the last S is a sinful people. Sinful people are not disbarred from attaining Krishna prema, because ultimately everyone is a child of God. Even the most abominable and sinful person is a part and parcel of God. And everyone can attain the supreme destination if they take shelter of Krishna. So in essence, Krishna sees our intent, our purpose, and our motive and desire. This is the most important thing. He's not too. What can you give Bhagavan when he's the source of everything? Nothing actually belongs to you. So if you give something to Krishna, it's not a big thing. He's not lacking in it. But what does he lack? What does Krishna lack? He lacks our love for him. Because he cannot create that. He cannot have that for himself. He has given each and every one of us free will. And he is hungry for that devotion. He's not concerned about anything else. He's got everything else. The only thing he doesn't have is our reciprocation of love to him. And that is what he's hungry for. And that is what attracts him. Okay? So, as Gaur Gopal Das used to say, that some people are so poor, that the only thing they have is money. Yeah? So poor that the only thing they have is money. They don't have anything else. They don't have any emotions, they don't have any reciprocation, they don't have any relationships. They work so hard just to get money, and after that, what? At the end of their life, there's nothing. Right? So, through that, Krishna reciprocates and uplifts us and enables us to attain the highest destination. Now, there are many stories of how Krishna has reciprocated with devotees. Now, after this class, I'll share a few stories, and just remind me to share these stories as well. Okay. Then, now we go to how to apply this in our life. How do we apply this? So, what the society teaches us is, if you want anything, ask God. But actually, we should not ask God for what your wants. We should give God what He wants, right? You know, there's a very famous the phrase called "Do unto others how you would like to get it," right? But again, that is a bit of a selfish one. You do unto others how they would like to have it. Okay? That is a bit of a higher stage. Because in the first one, you are just thinking good, but you're putting what they want based on what you like. Maybe you like apples, but they love mangoes. So if you love that person, you'll be like, okay, because I love apples, I'll give him apples or give her apples. But if that person doesn't like apples and likes mangoes, then you'll be like, okay, I like apples, but she or he likes mangoes. So I will give them mangoes. Which one is better? Mangoes. Giving them what they like, right? So that is more important. Okay? So what is the difference between love and like? Okay, so there was once a person who was in a restaurant and he was eating say fish, and then he was screaming, "Oh my God, I love this fish!" And this person looked back and he said, "Do you love the fish or do you like the fish?" He said, "I love the fish, I love the fish." He's like, "No, you love yourself, but you like to eat fish." Right? So what's the difference between love and like? Based on the story, what is the difference between love and like?
Love is personal.
Love is personal. Okay. Okay, how about another story? There was a person who is like, okay, there's a nice rose that is growing in the garden. He says that, do you like roses? No, I love roses. Okay, so look, there's a nice rose growing there. He said, okay, I'm just coming. So this person went, plucked out the rose, smelt it, brought it back. And then this person asked him, so did you say you like the roses or did you say you love the roses? And he said, no, I love roses. And this person says, no, you love yourself, but you just like the smell of roses. What is that? Now can you understand?
Yes.
What?
Love is when you will not inflict onto the other side's being.
Okay, and what is like?
Like fulfills our own sense gratification.
Yes. Like is very selfish, but love is selfless. If you love fish, you will not bring it out of the ocean, kill it, and then eat it. If you love a flower, if you love roses, you will not go pluck it. You will water it, you let it grow, and you let it blossom. Right? That is love. Love is not violent. Like is violent because like is based on selfishness. Love is based on selflessness. Okay? So, less intelligent people, they approach God to ask God for what they want. But the wise people approach God to give what He wants. Now, when we approach God to give what He wants, in the process of offering, giving, serving and sacrificing ourselves for others, we will find love developing. Yeah? Ask any new mother, in the process of sacrificing everything for the betterment of the newborn child, there's a lot of love that's being developed. There's a lot of bond being created. Why? Because of selflessness. Or why does selflessness create love? And how does it happen? It happens because we are investing a part of our heart in them, and hence, by extension, you are a part of them. This is the reason why love develops. And when this love is directed towards Krishna, this is known as bhakti. And it is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Bhakti Yoga is not a ritualistic religious transaction. It is a loving offering meant to reawaken a pure and intense love which lies dormant within us. Each and every single one of us has got this dormant love in us. We just have to direct it to Krishna, because you're already parcels of Krishna. Right? Now I want to ask you, which is more fulfilling? I love you because I need you, or I need you because I love you? I need you because I love you. Why not the first one?
It's again selfish.
Huh? What's wrong with the first one?
I love you because I love you.
The first one is for self-centered love.
Yes.
It's one-sided.
Yes. I love you because I need you. Because is the condition. The condition is that I need you. That's why I love you. If I don't need you, I won't love you. But here, I need you because I just love you. I don't need any reason. I don't need any external reason to need you. Just because I love you, that's why I need you. I need you around every time, just because I love you. There's no strings attached. Here there is a string attached. Here there are no strings attached. Is it clear? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, now this is the main thing. I don't think so you'll be expecting this in this type of classes, but how to find love. To love and to be loved. It is our everlasting and universal dream. But for the most part, it is a case of frustrated love. How many of you know the song? Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, and the very next day, you threw it away. It is a case of frustrated love. The most famous but misunderstood phrase, I love you. But you know what is the real I? What is the real you? And what love really means. Therefore, to understand the phrase, I love you, the ancient scriptures define, first of all, what is the I? And if you're coming to these classes, do I need to tell you what is an I? What is the I? The spirit soul. Right? Next, love means an outpouring of heartfelt service which is entirely unmotivated. In Sanskrit, this is known as ahituki, and uninterrupted, which is apratiyata. Yeah, ahituki and apratiyata. Yeah. So hence, true love is when we have a spiritual connection. Such loving exchanges brings fulfillment to the soul. Okay? And when this love is directed to Krishna, it is perfectly reciprocated. Now, there are so many different relationships we can have in the world. There's a relationship between a servant and the master. Can the servant truly love the master?
Not in this world.
Only if
Not
you
here.
give salary, good salary.
But yet,
That's not love.
That's not love.
Not in the material world.
yes, okay. Not in the material world. Why?
Because it's always a sense of exploitation.
Yes, there's always a sense that the master will cheat you or exploit you. But Krishna is not such a master. When you want to be a servant of Krishna, he is the best master of them all. He never cheats you. He never exploits you. What about you loving your child? Is any fault in that?
It's still relative.
Relative? Okay, in what sense?
It's because is your child until you're alive.
Yes.
It's a bodily relation.
Yes. So it is temporary. But if you make Bhagwan your child, there's no disappointment because he lives eternally. He is not going to die. Yeah. So when you make Krishna your child, he never leaves you. He's always there. He's never going to just one day take you. Not like that. He's going to remain forever. What if you have a love with a friend? What happens then?
It's a relation of need.
Need. And what happens? One day you're my friend, next day you are my enemy. It breaks anyway. But if you keep Krishna your friend, it never breaks. Because he's always your well-wisher. Right? What if you have a lover? What happens to that sort of love?
Again, it's a bodily attraction.
Attraction. What happens when that person goes away? Separation. So heartbreak. Yeah? But Krishna never goes away. Krishna perfectly reciprocates your loving relationships with him. And yeah? So as Krishna is the source of everything, by offering our love to him, it gets distributed to everyone and everything. Just like when you have to give to other people, are you getting less? No, because you are getting constantly from here.
Unlimited resource.
You're getting your happiness and love from an unlimited source. So your cup is always full. And what happens if there is more water? More than the cup that can hold. What happens to the water if there is a cup and the water is all up to here? What happens if more goes in? What happens then?
Overflows.
It overflows out. And it overflows where? To other people who are filling up their cup. So when you direct your love to Krishna and you focus on that, naturally the whole experience of devotion fills you up so much that automatically you are satisfied, and then when you come into the world and then you interact with other people, you are also able to fill in their quotas of love, and you will not get drained out because your cup is always constantly being filled because of your connection with Krishna. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this exponentially widens our circle of love and our ability to uplift ourselves and also all of those who are surrounding us. And the most important thing is when we learn to love in this material world, it prepares us for entering into the spiritual world where the real love exists. And this is a very nice quote from Srila Prabhupada. He says that real love is in the spiritual world between Radha and Krishna. Real love is between Krishna and the gopis. Real love, the friendship is there between Krishna and the gopas and the cowboys. Real love between animal and man is there. Krishna is loving the cows and the calves. Real love between trees, flowers, water. Simply that is a platform of love. That is the spiritual world. Everything is love.
Very good.
Yeah? Now, back on this point of how learning to love in this material world prepares us for entering into the spiritual world where real love exists, there's a story of, in South India, there was a very great saint, a Vaishnava saint of the Sri Sampradaya called Sri Ramanujacharya. And the story goes like this, that there were two of his disciples who had come to him to take sannyas. They thought they were ready to take sannyas. The first person, and both of these people, they were married. And coincidentally, both these people's wives had passed away. So until the time the wives were alive, they were doing the part of being a grahastha. They were doing the household duties. Now both of their wives had passed away. One person was drowning in grief. He's like, oh my God, my wife has passed away. I don't know what to do. There's nothing left for me to experience in this world. Everything seems like bland. There's no point in living. There's no point in doing anything. I just want to go to God, and I want to dedicate myself to God now. So Ramanacharya said, okay, here, I give you the permission to take sannyas. The other person was like, I didn't even shed a tear when my wife passed away. Yeah, I'm so detached from everything. I'm so like, I'm ready to take sannyas because even when my wife passed away, even when I cremated her, everything happened, I did not even shed a single tear. Ramanacharya said, you go get married again, and then you come back and then think about taking sannyas. Why do you think that is?
He didn't know the meaning of love.
Yes, he didn't know the meaning of love. He did not know the meaning of sacrifice. He did not know the meaning of giving yourself to somebody. So for the first person, Ramanacharya just had to direct his attachment from the wife to God. Here he has to start building the level of selflessness to develop love. This person doesn't even have love. This person at least had overflowing love. So it's easier to direct that. This person doesn't have love. So how is he ever going to love Krishna? Yeah? So this is why it's very important that learning to love in this material world prepares us for entering into the spiritual world where the real love exists. Right? Now all this is well and good, and all this is very theoretical. Who is a person who made this applicable in our lives? And so this is a person who started to teach bhakti. And this is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself incarnated as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in 1486 to show us how to live the Gita. So the Gita, all the principles are given, but how to bring those principles to life, how to act on it on a day-to-day basis, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us how to perform bhakti. So Krishna told us what to do, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us how to do it. Okay? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Yuga Avatar, or the incarnation for the age, who teaches the Yuga Dharma, which is a spiritual process for the age. And for Kali Yuga, this is the spiritual process is Harinam Sankirtan. So if this is the case, why is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu not so well known in the world? So when Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came as a Chana avatar. Chana means shadow. As a covered incarnation. Many just take him to be a saint. Okay? Now if you go back to the fourth chapter and in seventh text, Krishna says that I appear millennium after millennium. Right? And what does he come to do? He comes to do two things. He comes to destroy the miscreants and to re-establish
Dharma.
not karma, dharma, sorry. Yes, he comes to re-establish dharma. And he does that by protecting the saintly and then by destroying the miscreants. This is what he said in the fourth text. Now, what happens is, in Satyug, the godly and the demonic were living on completely different planets. Okay? Then, in Treta Yuga, they started living in the same planet. That's why we have Ram and Ravan, India and Lanka. Okay? The same planet. Then in Dwapara Yuga, the same family. Kauravas, Pandavas. Same family, godly people and demonic people. In Kali Yuga, it's within the same person. There is the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. Right? within the same person, that person has the capability to be godly and at the same time become demonic. Yeah? So, if Krishna comes and says, okay, let's kill all the demonics, we will all be there. Because we all have the tendencies to be demonic. So, Krishna cannot apply his normal self. He cannot come as his own incarnation. That is why he has to come in a different type of incarnation, a covered incarnation, to help raise the standards of people in this age. Because this is what happens at the end of Kali Yuga. What happens at the end of Kali Yuga? Who comes at the end of Kali Yuga? Which avatar comes at the end of Kali Yuga? And what does he do? He kills everyone. And that is a speciality, because at the end of Kali Yuga, everyone is pretty much a demonic mentality person. So Kalki Avatar comes and rids the entire world of every single person, except for a few people who then start the next yuga, which is Satya Yuga. So again, that's what Krishna says, I come every yuga. But if that is happening at the end of Kali Yuga, what happens from the beginning of Kali Yuga? So to help people to get liberated, even in Kali Yuga, even if that is only for a short period of time, before the full force of Kali Yuga takes place, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and freely delivers the process of this age, so that people who are intelligent and fortunate can take this medicine of Harinam Sankirtan and get liberated. Okay? How to verify that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God and not just a saint that many people claim him to be. So there is a safe way to do that. Again, this is the theme of our course, all the time acronyms. So this acronym S stands for scriptural evidences or indications. There are so many verses in all the Puranas, Bhavishya Puran, Matsya Puran, Padma Puran, Skanda Puran, even in Bhagavatam, there is so many hints given that there will be an avatar of Krishna who will come in the Kali Yuga, and they also give a description of all his activities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed all his activities that was mentioned in the scriptures. I'm just going to read out to you a bit of an excerpt. This comes in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 32. And actually goes on to 34. But I'll just read number 32 to you. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Who constantly sings the name of Krishna. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself, and he is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. This is just one indication in the scriptures of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming. Yeah? A stands for attributes. He displays extraordinary attributes. Yeah? His bodily luster was that of molten gold and has been described as such in many of the Puranas. So many of the Puranas say that this incarnation is golden in color, and he was actually that color. Then F means to follow the previous acharyas. What have they concluded? Have they concluded that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation of Krishna? Yes, they have. They have all the learned acharyas of the Vaishnava sects. They've all studied the character of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, studied the texts of the Puranas, and they have made that connection that what this personality is is the same personality that's been described in the scriptures. So, and they are very highly learned people in the Vedic knowledge, in the Vedanta, and they have made the conclusions. So it's very safe to follow an authority. So that's F. And E is as extraordinary activities. What is the most extraordinary thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did? Just by people looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, their dormant love for Krishna sprouted out. He basically introduced or aroused Krishna prema en masse. Yeah, it's very hard to try and get somebody to even take Krishna's name. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever he went, even when he was going through the jungles of Jharkhand, animals started to do Harinam Sankirtan. Imagine that, just by looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So his entire leelas are full of transcendental pastimes. Yeah? And finally, we get to the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence of the Gita. We get 4 essences. So what is the first essence? The first essence is that the entire Gita is the essence of all Vedic literatures. Yeah? If you look in the introduction, there is this Gita Mahatmaya, verse 6. Let me just read it out to you.
Verse 6
Yes.
What chapter?
If you look at the introduction itself, in the introduction, it says, this Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads is just like a cow. And Lord Krishna, who is famous as a coward boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. He just says here, it is the essence of all the Upanishads, all the Vedic literatures. Yeah? The second essence is that in this Gita, 18 chapters, broken into 3 sections, 1 to 6, 7 to 12, 13 to 18. So the middle section is the second essence. The essence of the Gita is in the middle, Bhakti Yoga. Yeah? Bhakti Yoga section. Now, the third essence, that within the 6 chapters of that concern Bhakti Yoga, the middle of them, so 7, 12, 8, 11, 9, 10. Okay? Now, these are the 2 middle ones of the middle. Right? So, that is a cream. And now you got between 9 and 10 is the last verse of chapter 9. This is 934. It is such an important verse that it is actually repeated by Krishna as his final instruction. In the end of the Gita in 1866, 934 and 1866 are almost verbatim the same. Almost. Because the same instruction he gives in 934 is the same he gives at the end of the Gita. So this is the 4th essence. So that is why 934 is the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Anyone who is kind enough to read that out for me, please? 934.
Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Thank you. And that is the final instruction. Now if you look at 1866, anyone wants to look at 1866 for me? 65, sorry.
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend.
Now if you want to read the Sanskrit of the the first two lines Sanskrit of 934. Man mana bhavamat bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Look at 1866. Man mana bhavamat bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Same to same. He is giving the same instruction twice. And what is he emphasizing? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. And it's only the person that we fully love is our thoughts 100% absorbed in them. No matter where we go. If we really love somebody, everything will remind us of that person. Right? So this is the final perfection. Yes.
So, according to what you just mentioned, for example, if you were supposed to start your day to day, how do you implement that in daily?
Daily thing. Alright. So how can we implement the process of remembering Krishna at every single moment in day-to-day life? Day-to-day life. Okay. This is a very broad question. Okay?
Because you're going to school, you're working, you're doing bakar, you're
Yeah.
picking the kids, you're doing
Yeah.
a million things.
Yes. Yes. So it's not like, when Arjuna was fighting on the war, and every time he was removing an arrow from the back, he's like, oh, Krishna, Krishna. Now, that's not what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was not doing that. So when he is saying that always remember me, is at the back of your mind, you're always thinking of doing something for him. So if you are supposed to, if you love somebody, you want to do the best for that person, right? If you love somebody, you really want to do the best for that person. But if something you're doing, if that distracts you from making that item to be the best you could do, that means that you're doing a substandard service. So in your case, say for example that you're say doing cooking, yeah, and you're just saying Krishna's name. But if that is distracting you from doing the best cooking that you can do, that means that you're not doing the best activity. The standard is going down. And so you cannot give that to somebody you love. So what Krishna says is that in the back of your mind, think that every action you're going to do in the whole day, in the whole day that's coming ahead, just think that I'm